Another night, he hears the Irish calling again, with words that I could hear but couldn't understand, except at the end, he that has laid down his life for thee, it is he that speaketh in me. And he awakes full of joy. What do you make of this experience? Again, this time he can see the one who gave his life for him, Christ. He can see Christ praying in him. And I was, as it were, within my body. And I heard him above me, that over the inward man, and there he prayed mightily with groanings. And all the time I was astonished and wondered and thought with myself, who it could be that prayed in me? At the end of the prayer he spoke, saying that he was the Spirit. And I woke up and remembered the apostle saying, the Spirit helps our infirmities. And he's had, as it were, a vision of the Spirit within, making intercessions with groanings that can't be uttered. Well, do read the rest of it, and indeed I hope it will encourage you to look at the whole of Patrick's confession. There are only these two writings that we have, which are certainly his, the spiritual autobiography and the letter, the letter to the soldiers of Coroticus, which occurs a little bit of it. I put it in the second passage. There's another document that I think we might take a look at now to get a flavour of how Christianity operates among these people, which has Patrick's name on it, but almost certainly it's a century or more after Patrick's time. It's a hymn, and its title is the Lorica. The Lorica is the Roman breastplate, and it occurs in a lot of Western hymn books nowadays, but in a rather polished translation, which I think takes away a lot of the flavour. Let's read it in a translation that's nearer the original. You got it? Now I think we've got to. This is a hymn. It's a prayer, and it's a hymn and prayer that the missionary makes when he's starting the day. This is what he says as he's getting up in the morning and facing the day that's going to bring him into contact with an essentially pagan society. I rise today through a mighty strength, the invocation of the Trinity. So he's calling on God, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Through belief in the threeness, through confession of the oneness towards the Creator. That's how I start. I arise today through the strength of Christ with his baptism. I now begin to think of the life of Christ, because I'm calling on Father, I've called on the Creator, I'm calling on the Son. The strength of his baptism, the strength of his crucifixion with his burial, through the strength of his resurrection with his ascension, the strength of his descent for the judgment of glory. I think of the whole life, ministry, death, resurrection of Christ and ascension. Now he thinks that when he's calling on the power of God, the Creator and the Redeemer, what resources can he call on? I rise today through the strength of the love of the cherubim, in obedience to angels, in obedience of angels, in the service of archangels, in the hope of resurrection to meet with reward. All the angelic powers on my side, despite the spiritual forces I'm going to meet. Cherubim, archangels, angels, that's resources that are beyond the pretty low-level spirits that I'm going to meet in the lands through which I'm going. And I've got the whole of the history of redemption behind me. I'm arising in prayers of patriarchs, predictions of prophets, preachings of apostles. They're all on my side too. In faith of confessors, and that is martyrs. In innocence of holy virgins. In deeds of righteous people. These are all on his side. I rise today through the strength of heaven. He's calling on the Creator, and that means light of sun, brilliance of moon, splendor of fire, speed of lightning, swiftness of wind, depth of sea, stability of earth, firmness of rock, the God of nature. I needn't fear the natural powers. I rise today through God's strength to pilot me, God's might to uphold me, God's wisdom to guide me, God's eye to look before me, God's ear to hear me, God's hand to guard me, God's way to go before me, God's shield to protect me, God's host to secure me. Why does he need all this? He is needing protection against snares of devils, temptations of vices, inclinations of nature. Yes, all the internal enemies, and now the external enemies, against everyone who will wish me ill, near and afar. The hatred that he knows he's going to come up against. Alone and in a crowd. I summon today all these powers between me and that. Against every cruel and merciless power that may oppose my body and soul. What are they? incantations of false prophets, black laws of heathenry, false laws of heretics, and craft of idolatry, spells of women smiths and wizards, women who have the special, in this society, comes time and again, the great opponents of the gospel are often women prophetesses who have the shrine priestesses who speak in the name of other deities. Against craft or idolatry, spells of women smiths. Again, the blacksmith is the person, Ogon, in Yoruba, where again the iron worker, a special divinity attached to iron working.
That's right.
Very much so in this society too. If you know the Wagner operators, Wotan the Smith is which comes out of the pre-Christian mythology of Europe. That figures there. Against every knowledge that endangers man's body and soul. So, off he goes. Christ to protect me today against poison, against burning, against drowning, against wounding, so that there may be all the things that can happen to me. Christ with me, Christ before me, Christ behind me, Christ inside me, Christ beneath me, Christ above me, Christ on my right, Christ on my left, Christ where I lie down, Christ where I sit, Christ where I arise, Christ in the heart of every man that thinks of me, Christ in the mouth of everyone who speaks of me. Because if Christ is in his mouth, he can't curse you. Christ in every eye that sees me. Christ in every ear that hears me. I arise today through a mighty strength, invocation of the Trinity, belief in threeness, confession of oneness towards the Creator. And so he goes on his way, saying, salvation is of the Lord. Salvation is of the Lord. Salvation is of Christ. May your salvation, O Lord, be above with us. The missionary prayer that Patrick might well, the sort of prayer I'm sure that he did use, and that some of his followers a century and a half later are using as how you survive in this world. It's our first sign, perhaps, of how Christianity is being reshaped